Hello everyone, Xeno What If here. To bring in part 7 of What If Jaune arc was the betrayed and became clone Commando. Link down in the description of the fanfiction of this, What If. Listen here YouTube. I do not own anything and this isn't a scam. Chapter 19. In Ozpin's office, him alongside Goodwitch and Ironwood are having a heated discussion regarding the events that just happened for the past few days. Ironwood. This is unacceptable Ozpin. The clones killed my men. Ozpin. Technically they were trespassing in clone territory so the clones had all the right to engage them. Ironwood. But it was territory that they stole. Atlas is losing more and more dust because the clones took over the SDC facilities and mines. Jacques is thinking of retaliating back. Goodwitch. Then they won't stand a chance. Ozpin. Indeed, and what's worse is the rescue attempt regarding Kiro has failed. Goodwitch. Of course it did Ozpin, it was already obvious. To think you would send students to rescue him, what were you thinking? Ozpin. I had no other options Glinda. Goodwitch. Really now? And look what that led to, Kiro Bronwyn and Ruby Rose have been arrested. Also I even heard that Team PRN quit Beacon as well. Ozpin. I believe the same can be said for Ms. Belladonna, she has yet to come back to Beacon and I even tried contacting her parents but they refused to answer my calls. Ironwood. This is bad Ozpin, from what Ms. Schnee reported, the clone are recruiting our people in their army. Ozpin. Yes I heard rumors that all of the Dragon Continent, Vacuo, and Mistral have joined the ranks of the clone army. Even the people in Vale are doing the same as well sooner or later the people of Mantle will do the same. Ironwood. Then we'll send one of our people to infiltrate their ranks and have them steal information and gear. Goodwitch. I don't know about that James, they probably have procedures regarding that to make sure no spies enter their facilities. Ironwood. Oh please, I highly doubt that. Ozpin. But have you gathered all the huntsmen and huntresses from the 4 kingdoms? Ironwood. Yes I have, all of them are eager to drive the clones away from their homes and get their jobs back. Even the students in the 3 other academies want to join up as well. Ozpin. The same can be said for Beacon, even if Mr. Ark and his clones saved Beacon, the students still don't believe he is that skillful and are willing to teach him a lesson. Goodwitch. The staff are with you as well Ozpin, we gathered every huntsman in Vale and are ready for action. Ozpin. Good, when the time is right. We'll strike and drive these clones out of Vale. I know they are here to help but I believe they have an ulterior motive and I need to make sure they get in line. Then all of a sudden Ozpin got a call as he answered it and it was Port. Ozpin. Peter, what is it? Port. Mr. Ark has sent one of his officers to Beacon, they wish to have a chat with you. Ozpin. Send them in. Port nods and the call end. Ozpin wonders who is Jaune sending to his office at this time. He needs to be ready to manipulate them if they start asking questions. Ozpin. We need to be ready in case they start asking questions. Goodwitch. Indeed. Ironwood. But my question is, who is Mr. Ark sending here? The elevator doors open as both Ozpin and Ironwood turned around and safe to say they expected to see a clone but not this. The super tactical droid exits the elevator followed by a squad of 10 BX series commando droids. Ironwood looked and noticed that these things are better than his AKs but he thinks his AKs are more than capable of dispatching these copycats. The super tactical droid scans the office and from what Ozpin can tell, this machine doesn't seem impressed by what it is seeing. Ozpin. So are you the one Mr. Ark sent here? Kraken. Indeed, I am a super tactical droid, my name is Kraken. I was sent here to inform you of what has transpired between the clones. Ozpin. And has transpired with the clones. Kraken. An alliance between the droid army. We were once enemies with the clone army but now we are allies. Ozpin. And how were you even sent here? Kraken. The same way the clones did, by the universal being Ohm. Ozpin. I see, so is this the only reason why you were sent here? Kraken. Negative. Both Generals Jaune and Kalani wanted to show you a display of just what the droid army is capable of. Ironwood. Really now? And what makes you think this droid army is capable of protecting Remnant? What would happen if you get hacked? Kraken. That will not be an issue, as the droid army does not rely on a central computer anymore which means we are far more independent compared to your AKs. Our technology is far superior than yours and we learn to fix our mistakes and adapt to the environment, unlike you. Ironwood, how dare. Kraken, your technology is obsolete and you refuse to change your mistakes. You're very arrogant to the point you are untouchable. We wish to show you just how weak your AKs are to the droid army. Ironwood, we'll see about that. Ozpin, and what kind of display will you show us? Kraken, the general has given me coordinates to dispatch a tribe that has been causing problems in the kingdom of Mistral. With that taken out it will not only remove a pest but gain the favor of the people of Mistral and the council. Ironwood, and how would we know you are even capable of doing this? Kraken, you underestimate our means and that will be your downfall. As Kraken walks towards the window of Ozpin's office and all of a sudden 4 hemp droid gunship appeared. Ozpin, Goodwitch, and Ironwood were intimidated at the sight of the droid gunships. Ironwood wonders how these things were created and will try to replicate it. Kraken, the target is located in the forests of Anima, leave no survivors. Go. Droid gunship, by your command. The hemp droid gunships turned out and flew out of Vale and heads to Mistral to deal with a certain bandit tribe. Mistral, forests of Anima. In the forests a group of bandits can be seen returning back to their base as they came back, which is a huge load of supplies. Vernal, bring them in, the boss would be happy we took a huge load from that village. Bandit, we were lucky we got out of there in time. Bandit, yeah, those soldiers in white would have spot and killed us on sight. Bandit, heard another group of bandits got killed the other day, thank it wasn't us. Vernal began heading outside the base and continued watching the area. Ever since the clones arrived it was very hard for them to raid villages, they were lucky enough to raid this one. She continues looking at the forest when she hears something and it's getting close. She quickly jumps down from the watchtower and looks around the forest for any signs of activity, but she isn't looking the right way. All of a sudden the hemp droid gunships zoomed past her and hovered around the bandit's base. Bandit, what is that thing? Bandit, who cares, just shoot it. The bandits began firing their weapons at the droid gunship but the dust bullets merely bounce off their armor. The droid gunship began their massacre as one gunship began firing their medium laser cannons, their double laser cannons, and the wingtip light laser cannons as that one gunship blasted an entire group of bandits with ease. The other droid gunships flew around the bandits' base as they fired the pod multi-missile racks. The missiles continuously fired non-stop as the bandits get engulfed with explosions. One of the bandits tried jumping onto the droid gunship but was stopped when one of the droid gunships hovered about it and shot the bandit down. The droid gunships continue to wreak havoc in the bandits' base as they fire a continuous barrage of missiles and are not stopping. Then the droid gunships hovered towards the ground and dropped a group of commando droids as they began charging at the bandits and firing the E5 blaster rifle. Some of the bandits ran for their lives but were gunned down by the commando droids. Vernal and a few other bandits charged at the commando droids and fired their weapons, but yet again the dust rounds merely bounce off their armor. A few commando droids brought out their vibroswords and sprinted to the bandits. The commando droids do aerobatics as the bandits are having hard time firing at them as they get slashed one by vibrosword. A commando droid can be seen walking to a downed Vernal as she tries to crawl out of there. Vernal, do your worst, when Raven Bronwyn comes back you're all going to pay. Bam! The commando droid fires their gun as the droid began to move around the base alongside the other droids to dispatch any more bandits that remain. One of them contacted Kraken. Commando droid, the bandits' base is destroyed. All hostiles were eliminated. Kraken, good, was there any confirmation of Raven Bronwyn? Commando droid, negative, scans reported she is not in the vicinity of the area. Kraken, understood, once you're finished. Withdraw your forces and head back to base. Commando droid, yes sir. Back in Ozpin's office, Kraken showed them the footage of the droid's attack on the bandits and safe to say they were shocked with their power, more so Ozpin. He witnessed 4 ships were able to eliminate majority of the Bronwyn tribe with ease and even the droids were able to dispatch the bandits without any difficulty. He needs to think of other options. With this droid army allying themselves with the clones, their army is infinite and the manpower Ozpin is getting barely scratches the surface. Ironwood is jealous, very jealous of what he just witnessed. Just by looking at that display, a small number of droids were able to cause that much damage than a squad of AKs. He needs to make drastic measures to ensure that Atlas can fight this threat. Kraken. As you can see, a small squad of droids were able to eliminate a bandit tribe with ease. Now imagine an army of them, you will not stand a chance against our might. Ozpin. So what you're saying is the droid army will attack us soon. Kraken. Negative, General Jaune wishes to show you what we are capable of and to not make an enemy out of us, or else it will result in your deaths. As Kraken and the Commando droids began walking to the elevator. Kraken. My forces will arrive in this kingdom. I advised you not tamper with my droids or there will be dire consequences. The elevator doors closed as Ironwood smashes his fist in Ozpin's table in anger. Ironwood. Damn it. With this droid army allying themselves with the clones, we won't stand a chance. Goodwitch. Then what do you expect us to do? Ironwood. I don't know. Ozpin. Enough. As both Goodwitch and Ironwood quieted down. Ozpin. Given what we saw, with the clones allying themselves with the droids, we are now up against two armies, one that could easily destroy all of Remnant. Ironwood. And what do you suggest we do? Ozpin. Ozpin. We head to Atlas and use the Relic of Creation to give us an army. One that can be used against the clones and droids. Ironwood. Ozpin. The Winter Maiden's condition is still unstable. Ozpin. Then we'll go forth with your other plan, James, have Winter Schnee be the next Winter Maiden. Ironwood. Of course Ozpin, I understand. I'll prepare the procedure once we arrive in Atlas. Goodwitch. And what about Kiro? Ozpin. Kiro is now a liability. He told me before I sent him on that mission that he will tell the clones of all my plans. So if the time is right to when we free him from captivity, James I want you to execute him. Ironwood. It will be done. Ozpin. Glinda, gather all the huntsmen and huntresses, and that includes the students. I believe it's time for us to go to war. Meanwhile, in the forests of Mistral, a certain raven is flying around Anima looking for potential villages to plunder, but so far has only found more and more clone and now droid bases. Raven is being careful as she heard that these clones easily dispatched the other bandit tribes all over Mistral and Vacuo, their gear easily pierced through aura, and she needs to be cautious. But something stopped her in tracks when she felt her connection with Vernal was severed. She has a bad feeling about this and quickly flew back to her tribe. She arrived back at her base and found it all to be destroyed, everything from their tents, their supplies, and the base was littered with the bandits' dead bodies. Raven looks around and sees the carnage. She can tell by the markings on the ground that these were the weapons used by the soldiers she has seen all over the kingdom. She continues walking and sees Vernal's dead body. She grips her katana in anger as her maiden powers brood up a storm. They will all pay for doing this. Raven. Whoever did this is going to pay. I swear it. I will kill every last one of them. Back at the clone military base, Kiro is in a cell right now. He is strapped to a container field as he hears the doors of the cell open and sees Jaune, Kalani, and RWBY, but he doesn't know that's her enter his cell. Jaune. So you must be Kiro Bronwyn. I wonder why Ozpin even bothered to send you to infiltrate our base. We are nothing like Atlas. We just don't let people in our bases. Kiro. Well, Ozpin took a page out of Ironwood's book and is paranoid of you. Jaune. Why? He already knows we have a weapon that can defeat Salem. He even confirmed it himself. Kiro. Well, we already know the reason why Ozpin doesn't trust you is he can't use you. Jaune. Use me. Kiro. Oz wants to use you for his schemes. After what we learned about Salem being immortal, I have a feeling Oz has been using all of us for this shadow war and that we're just his little assets that can be disposed of easily and he can just find new ones. He can just manipulate people into joining his cause and giving them hope when in reality he has been lying to us, all of us. Kalani. In short, we are just pawns that can be disposed of and he can just find new pawns for his cause. RWBY. So basically I'm an asset to his war all because of my silver eyes. Kiro. Wait, RWBY, is that you? RWBY removes her helmet showing her face to Kiro as he is shocked by this. Kiro. I didn't expect you to join them. RWBY. Well, from what I heard, I rather not be another one of Ozpin's pawns for this war of his. I rather fight on my own terms. The same can be said for Jaune, his team, and Blake. Jaune. Indeed, and that's why we need to be ready for whatever Ozpin has planned for us. Kiro. Well, from what I know, no doubt he's assembling an army, Jimmy's boys and every huntsman and huntress in the Four Kingdoms. Heard rumors that they don't like you boys acting as security. Jaune. Oh, we already know what Ozpin's plan is. After all, I'm 20 steps ahead of him. As Jaune brought out a holoprojector and showed Kiro a recording of Ozpin's conversation with Ironwood and Goodwitch. Kiro. What? How did you? Kalani. During the meeting, I sent a ringneck recon droid to spy on Ozpin and relay to us what are his plans after Kraken showed him the mission regarding the Bronwyn tribe. Kiro. Wait, the tribe. Does that mean? Jaune. Raven Bronwyn was not present in the base during the attack. We have both the clones and droids searching for, and thanks to the little tip by the all-gracious Ohm, we know her secret. Kiro. And what secret is that? Jaune. That Raven is the Spring Maiden. Kiro eyes widen. Jaune. Don't worry, we won't let her get away. We have eyes and ears everywhere, and no doubt once she sees her tribe all massacred, she would definitely find the closest base and attack out of revenge. Kiro. Well, that should be easy to deal with regarding her. Jaune. But we have other problems at hand. As Jaune nods to Kalani, he goes to the console outside the cell and deactivates the restraints. As Kiro falls to the ground, RWBY helps him up. Jaune. Knowing what we know, Ozpin will no doubt try to assemble an army to fight us, but we are one step ahead of him and are prepared. As for you, Kiro, Ozpin has no use for you anymore and will have you executed. So with this information, will you still join Ozpin's cause or join ours? At this point he doesn't have an army, but we do. So Kiro Bronwyn. RWBY brought out a DC-15 blaster and gave it to Jaune. Jaune. Are you in or are you out? Kiro looks at Jaune, then at the DC-15 blaster, and takes it. Kiro. I'm in. Chapter 20. In one of the barracks in the clones' main headquarters. Kiro steps out of the barracks as he is now decked in clone armor. The clone armor he was given is the armor that Hunter wears, which is a modified Katarn-class Commando armor. The color scheme he chose is similar to his Huntsman outfit, where the base color is gray with different shades of gray acting as markings. Then with a little black and red paint on the armor and his visor is red, he also has a symbol of a crow on his right shoulder and his emblem on the left. For his weapons, he was given an upgraded Harbinger, with the blade being replaced with the blade used in a vibro knife, and the dust rounds now fire blaster bolts. He is also equipped with dual DC-17 hand blasters, a DC-17 meters interchangeable weapon system, and 2 verbo knives located in his arm and 1 in his right leg. He heads out to the command center, where he was met with Jaune. Jaune. Ah, Kiro, you're finally here. Kiro. Yup, and I have to say, kid, I like the armor you guys are wearing. If Jimmy sees me wearing this, he's going to flip. Jaune. Well, if you wore our armor during the time the Phase 1 was still in effect, you wouldn't like our armor. Jaune nods as a clone projects a map of an academy. Jaune. Kiro, I take it you know what academy this is. Kiro. Yup, that's Haven. Wait, don't tell me Ozpin is planning an attack right now. Jaune. Nope, it's something else. Jaune then presses another button as the hologram of Lionheart appears. Jaune. I never told Ozpin this, but Lionheart here is a traitor and has been working with Salem. Kiro. What? Are you serious, kid? Jaune. Yes, I am. Intel says that Cinder's other associates, who we identified as Mercury Black and Emerald Sustre, have been hiding out in Haven after the attack in Beacon, and if you want proof of them being involved with Cinder, we even have security footage of them together. Kiro. Damn, so Leo was a holy shit. He was responsible for Amber getting her powers stolen. Jaune. And with whatever Ozpin is planning, Lionheart would no doubt tell Salem of this, and she'll definitely use this war he has with us to her advantage. Kiro. So you want us to take him out? Jaune. It's capture or kill, depends on what info Lionheart can give us. Kiro. I see, so who's the team going with me? Jaune. RWBY and Blake will join you, followed by a new battalion that is ready to deploy. You will leave in a matter of minutes, we will meet up with them now. Time skip. Jaune and Kiro are in the hallways where they met with RWBY and Blake. RWBY. Oh hey Jaune. Uncle Kiro. Kiro. Hello to you to Squirt, and it seems you got a change of armor as well. Last time I saw you, you were all decked in black. RWBY's armor is still the same, but with added red markings in her armor, and her visor changed to silver. RWBY. I had free time to do this. Jaune. Come on you two, I have something special for you both. RWBY. Oh, and what is it, Jaune? Jaune. You'll see. Once the doors were opened, both Ruby and Blake were met with a group of clones all standing in attention facing them. In their right we see 20 clone troopers all decked out in red and black markings. Their markings all resemble Ruby's emblem and other features of her outfit. The only added features in their armor is a backpack, a hooded cape, and a holster for their DC-17 pistol. While on the left we see the same amount of clone troopers, but they are coated with black and purple markings. Their markings resemble a cat, which references Blake's faunus heritage. They are equipped with a pauldron and a comma. Jaune. Company. Attention. The clones stand in attention as both Ruby and Blake were surprised by this. They began walking around and looking at the clones. Ruby. Jaune, is this? Jaune. You got that right, Ruby. You and Blake now have your own battalion of clones to lead. We got veterans that are part of this unit and some clones that perished early on in the war and now have been brought back to life. Let's just say they are ready for a fight. Ruby. Wait, are you saying these clones died? Jaune. And numerous other ones, and for some miracle they were all brought back to life. Blake. How is that possible? Kiro. I have a good feeling I know the answer, but I have no idea if you guys would believe me or the kid. Jaune. Anyways, ignoring that. What do you guys think of my surprise? Ruby. I love it. Ruby rushes to Jaune and hugs him tight. Blake just smiles at the interaction while Kiro just narrows his eyes at Jaune. Jaune. Ruby, do you mind letting go? Ruby realizes what she just did and stepped back with her face flushing red. Blake. And you dropped your helmet, Ruby. Ruby quickly grabs her helmet, which was on the floor, and fixes herself. But her face is still red from hugging Jaune. Jaune. Now then, this unit will serve as a battalion for the 636th Legion, so you will join operations with my team, but right now, a small squad will be sent to Haven to deal with a certain headmaster. Your cuz will inform you of the situation, so get to the shuttles, team. Everyone except Kiro. Sir. Yes, sir. Time skip. The new class attack shuttle makes its way to Haven. Inside, Kiro, Ruby, and Blake are with two squads comprised of 18 clone troopers. Then two clone captains went up to the front to address the men. They are Captains Rose and Shroud. Captain Rose, his armor is comprised of markings that have different shades of red. He wears the standard Phase 2 armor. His helmet has a visor, a chin extension, antennas, a small floodlight, and two gray stripes coming down from the sides on the top of his helmet that were painted dark red. He has an antenna on his shoulder, a rank insignia in his chest, and a backpack with a hooded cape. Captain Shroud, his armor is comprised of black and purple markings with some yellow added into it. He wears the standard Phase 2 armor. His helmet has a polarized macro binoculars as a helmet attachment. His armor has a comma and pauldron with some added ammo pouches strapped to his shoulder and arms. The two captains brought out a holoprojector and relayed the plan. Rose. Alright everyone, listen up. The intel we have is good. We have multiple huntsmen and huntresses guarding the academy. They're armed with a battalion of AKs. Clone. AKs. What are AKs doing all the way in Mistral? Kiro. No doubt Lionheart wanted them for protection. He'd probably asked Ironwood for that. Rose. Lionheart will expect an army heading his way, but we'll have the pilot drop us a few clicks from the academy, give them the element of surprise. Shroud. We have a kill or capture order on Lionheart. The students are not to be shot at unless fired upon, the rest you are authorized to engage. Ruby. Sounds easy enough. Blake. Yup. The new class attack shuttle makes its way near the academy and began landing. They made sure not to be seen as everyone gets off the ship. Ruby and Blake head out and made sure the area is secured. Ruby is using her 733 Firepuncher rifle and Blake is using a customized DC-15 rifle. Blake. We're clear. Kiro and the rest of the clones move in on their positions. Kiro. This will only buy us enough time to get to the academy, but once we get there, all hell is going to break loose. Ruby climbed up a tree and got into a good position and surveyed the entire academy. She sees multiple AKs and a spider droid guarding the entrance. Ruby. Yup, we'll get real busy. They moved into the entrance of Haven as Rose and Shroud looked at the situation using their macro binoculars. The same goes for Blake. Rose. These Tress will provide us cover, but that spider droid will cause us problems. Blake. Do we have any rockets? Shroud. No, just thermal detonators and droid poppers, but we need to get close. Ruby. If I'm right, this will be similar to what happened to a certain Aesop I dealt with. I'll draw their fire while all of you move into position. They all looked at RWBY. RWBY, trust me. Blake, you do make things interesting. Blake nods as Shroud and Rose ordered all clones to move. Kiro, Blake, and the clones quietly move into the entrance of the academy while RWBY gets into a sniping position and fires, hitting the spider droid in a couple of AKs. The huntsmen and huntresses look around and try to see where that's coming from. Huntsman, there, have that piece of crap shoot at it. The spider droid began aiming at RWBY and fires its cannon. It missed RWBY by a couple of inches, but she wasn't fazed by it. In her scope she waits for the spider droid to aim directly at her. She continues firing to allow the spider droid to know where she is. Then the minute she sees the barrel of the cannon aimed towards her, she fires. The blaster bolts head straight inside the barrel of the cannon and the entire thing explodes. Kiro and Blake sees this and moved in on the entrance, followed by the clones. RWBY uses her rangefinder and sees the huntsmen ran back inside and the AKs were sent out. The AKs fired their weapons as RWBY uses her sniper to take out the AKs on the roof. The rest of them reach the entrance and began fighting the AKs. One of the clones with a backpack throws a thermal detonator at a group of AKs, blowing them to pieces. They all began moving forward. They placed the grappling hooks on their guns and fired as they began rappelling up towards the roof. A clone threw a droid popper in the entrance as the AKs got deactivated. They all jumped down and eliminated the remaining AKs in the area. The clones opened the doors of the academy to let RWBY and the other clones in. Rose, direct shot at the barrel, nice touch ma'am. Shroud, looks like all that training with Sev and Crosshair paid off. RWBY, I was able to get a good look at the academy. The AKs are moving in coordinated waves, but the huntsmen are all scattered around the academy. There has to be an Atlas officer giving them orders. I highly doubt the huntsmen would listen to Lionheart. Blake, then let's divide their forces. RWBY, Weiler, Nova, Blaze, Shrapnel, Spark, you're with us. We'll take the north access. Rose, Shroud, take the rest of the team and head to the south. They all nod as Rose and Shroud took the rest of the squad with them. While RWBY, Blake, Kiro, Weiler and Nova, 2 troopers from RWBY's platoon. Blaze, Shrapnel, and Spark, 3 troopers from Blake's platoon all head in the academy. In the office of the headmaster, Lionheart and an Atlas officer watch through the security cams as the clones made it inside. Lionheart, oh no, they made it inside. Atlas officer, calm down Lionheart, we have enough AKs and spider droids to handle these group of clones. I'll head outside and coordinate our forces, while you stay here. Lionheart, oh of course. The Atlas officer heads out. Once the doors were closed, Lionheart breathes a sigh of relief. Mercury, well we're screwed. Lionheart looks and sees Mercury and Emerald appear. The Atlas officer did not see them due to Emerald's semblance. Lionheart, I knew the clones would arrive here. We should leave this place immediately. Mercury, yeah, that would be real difficult right now considering we got a bunch of clones breaching through the academy. Plus over here has a plan. Emerald, yes I do. When they get here I will use my semblance to sneak past them and grab their weapons and use it against them, plain and simple. After all, they will pay for what they did to Cinder. Mercury, see, simple as that. We just have to act the part when the clones made it inside, which will happen seeing how they easily dispatch these knockoffs. Lionheart nods, but knowing how cowardly he is still terrified of the situation. Meanwhile Team 1 were able to make it inside as they just finished dispatching both AKs and huntsmen in the Haven Gardens. They scanned the hallways for any hostiles, but suddenly the doors were open as they all aimed their guns at them, but Blake was surprised when they saw who they were. Blake, son, wait, Blake, is that you? RWBY had the clones stand down but made sure to keep their eyes peeled. Blake, what are you doing here? Son, well, some of the students that didn't want to be part of this hid in this room. We were all about to get out of here but ran into you guys. Blake, I see. Kiro, hey kid, it's best we save the chit-chat for later, we still got a job to do. Blake, right, son, the rest of you stay here and wait for our reinforcements to arrive. Don't worry, we won't hurt you. Son, you got it, Blake. As son closes the doors of the room and the team went off. Kiro, looks like some of the students didn't want to participate in this war. RWBY, why would they? They didn't sign up for this. They reached the main hall in the academy, when all of a sudden they heard a noise. Kiro, did you hear that? RWBY, we got hostiles inbound. Stay alert. All of them aim their guns, searching for where the targets will pop up. Then all of a sudden a bunch of huntsmen burst through the rooftops and jumped from the balconies. Weiler used the flamethrower and began burning them. Shrapnel came rushing in and used the Z6 rotary cannon and blasts them. AKs start ambushing them from the second floor. They retaliated back by taking them down. RWBY, hit them with a popper. Nova, Blaze, and Spark got a bunch of droid poppers from their backpacks and threw them at the AKs, which resulted in them being deactivated. RWBY, Kiro, and Blake continue firing at the AKs and huntsmen when a spider droid burst through the roof. Blake, get to cover. The team gets to cover as the spider droid fires its cannon, destroying a part of the main hall. RWBY is with Nova as they are close to the spider droid. Nova, think a droid popper will work on that thing. RWBY, then let's find out. Nova got out of cover and threw a droid popper at the spider droid. In just their luck the spider droid deactivated with one droid popper. Nova, well, it goes to show how weak Atlas machines are. Weiler, usually the separatists droids that are around this size would take a whole lot more droid poppers to take them down. Shrapnel, you got that right. RWBY, incoming. More AKs appeared as the team runs out in the hallway, but RWBY decided to leave them a parting gift by throwing a thermal detonator, destroying them. The team continues to an open area in the academy as they take out all the enemy forces in the area, with the 3 clones throwing detonators and Weiler burning them into a crisp. Kiro, any ideas on where that Atlas officer is? RWBY looks through her scope and sees the Atlas officer is hiding in one of the towers in the academy. RWBY, he's in the tower, but I can't get a clear line of sight. Kiro, well, let's remedy that. A spider droid appears and crawls to the roof as it was joined by more AKs. They began taking out the AKs. RWBY looks towards Blake, Nova, Spark, and Blaze. They nod. One of them throws Blake a detonator as all 4 of them threw the thermal detonators at one AK and RWBY shot it. The AK falls down, landing in the spider droid and explodes along with the spider droid. They move inside the academy as they secure the area. RWBY, alright, Uncle Kiro, take Weiler, Nova, Blaze, Shrapnel, and Spark, head up the hallway and secure us a path to Lionheart's office. Blake and I will deal with the Atlas officer. Kiro, got it, make sure you come back when we bust Lionheart. RWBY, will do. The team splits up as RWBY and Blake head up to the tower. The Atlas office sees this and commands a squad of AKs to deal with them. Once they're in the stairs they were ambushed by AKs as RWBY took a shot and blasted one as more came in. Blake, any ideas? RWBY, just try and keep up. RWBY brought out some sort of small disc and threw it at the wall, then fired at it, as the blaster bolt re-deflect towards the AK. Meanwhile the Atlas officer looks out from the balcony of the tower and see the clones making short work of their remaining forces. More and more AKs get taken down. RWBY throws another disc at the wall and takes out an AK. The two move up to the tower but were cornered when a bunch of AKs are guarding the entrance. RWBY threw a disc and was about to aim, but 2 AKs armed with blades on their arms charged at them. RWBY shot one down but another was able to get Blake, but she luckily used a modified gamble shroud and stabbed it in the head. RWBY, you good? Blake, yeah I am. RWBY, good, I can make the shot from here. As RWBY gave Blake one of the discs. RWBY, give me a line of sight. Blake nods and heads up and was met with gunfire from the AKs. Blake, where do you need the puck? RWBY, throw it. Blake, how far? RWBY, as far as you can. It now shows RWBY in a prone position in the stairs. Blake fires her weapon and takes out the 2 AKs by the entrance. Atlas officer, defend this tower at all cost. Do not let them in. The rest of the AKs move in the entrance. Blake gets ready to throw the disc and does it. RWBY then aims her sniper, waiting for the disc to be in range, and once it was, she fires. Hitting the disc on the wall as the single blaster deflects from AK to disc to AK, and it reached all the way to the Atlas officer, who was shot through the head as he falls to the ground dead. The Atlas officer comms activates as one of the huntsmen contacts him. Huntsman, we need more reinforcements. Send more AKs. The huntsmen were burned as Team 2 arrives inside the main area of the academy. RWBY and Blake head down the stairs to rendezvous with the others. RWBY, nice throw. Blake, nice shot. The two of them head to Lionheart's office where they saw a trail of destroyed AKs and dead huntsmen. They arrived at the entrance as Kiro and the clones are waiting for them. RWBY, we all set. Kiro, yup. RWBY nods at Nova as he detonates the breaching charge as the doors were blown open. All of them rushed in and aimed their weapons at Lionheart. Kiro, don't even try anything, Leo, we know you work for Salem, so there's not point in denying it. Lionheart, how did you know? RWBY, we have our ways. Now hands in the air or we shoot you. Lionheart is really nervous right now. He looks for Emerald and sees her moving slowly towards the clone's weapons. He wants her to hurry this up so he won't die. RWBY, hands in the air and walk to us slowly now. Lionheart, alright. Lionheart moves slowly while he has his eyes on Emerald, who is close to stealing Blake's DC-17, and then it happened. Bam! Emerald's body then falls to the ground as she was shot in the head. RWBY, Kiro, and Blake didn't react to the shot, but Lionheart did. He turns around to where the shot came from and saw Mercury with a DC-17 pistol. He aims it at Lionheart. Lionheart, you're with them. Mercury, yup, let's just say I struck a deal with the clones. It's a losing fight joining with Salem, might as well join the winning side, and from what they told me, we have bigger enemies than the Grim. Lionheart, what? Mercury, so what do we do with this coward? Now that you know that he's a spy, what use do we have for? Mercury was silenced when Kiro blasted Lionheart with his DC-17 meters interchangeable weapon system. Kiro, that was for Amber, you traitor. Mercury, okay, never mind then. Blake, it doesn't matter, John said it was a kill or capture on him anyway. Kiro, never expected you to join us after what you did with Amber. Mercury, to be honest, even if I didn't want to join Cinder's group, she would have killed me. After all, she was planning to recruit my old man, but I killed him, so she had to resort with me instead. Blake, so you never wanted to join her. Mercury, yeah, she can be a whiny bitch, and Emerald, she is such a simp for her, it gets really annoying. Kiro, so what do we do with you now we're done here? Mercury, we'll know right about now, thanks to her. Mercury points to RWBY, who is seen talking to someone in her comms as she approaches Mercury. RWBY, you have new orders. No doubt Salem would send her agents to Haven, knowing that Lionheart is dead. We'll let you go on out of here and find her agents and come up with a story saying you barely escaped. Mercury, and how would we make the story convincing? RWBY shoots Mercury in his shoulder, but at the part where it won't cause significant damage. Mercury, hey, what the hell? RWBY, there, now the story is very convincing. Mercury, but did you really have to shoot me? RWBY, yes, now get a move on, the rest of our forces should be arriving soon. But once the time comes, we'll send a team to pick you up. In just a few days we'll launch an orbital bombardment on the Grimlands. Mercury, just make sure you get me out of there before you blow me up. RWBY, roger that. Now, get on out of here. Mercury nods and quickly runs off out of Lionheart's office as they all head outside of the academy. Outside, in the entrance of Haven Academy, multiple clone and droid gunships can be seen landing and bringing in troops, as well as new class attack shuttles filled with RT troopers, as the academy is filled with soldiers. The soldiers get to work bringing in the captured huntsmen and evacuating the students out of the academy. A squad of clone troopers can be seen brining the body of Lionheart out in a stretcher, but they made sure to cover it. As RWBY, Blake, and Kiro head to their new class attack shuttle, they watch the doors close as they give Haven Academy one last look. Chapter 21. Ozpin is watching the news regarding the attack on Haven Academy. The huntsmen and huntresses that were part of defending the academy were all arrested, and now with the Mistral Council's approval have given both the clone and droid army jurisdiction to place their forces in Mistral. He also heard Vacuo has already done it, after the clones dealt with an organization known as the Crown. He hears the elevator doors open and sees Ironwood and Goodwitch enter his office. Ironwood, I take it you've seen the news, Ozpin. Ozpin, I haven't. This is very troubling. The clones attacked Haven and killed the headmaster. Goodwitch, we tried asking the clones why they did it, but they refused to do so. Ironwood, do you think this was to send a message, to tell us if we declare war, we will face the consequences? Ozpin, It could be, after all, they didn't hesitate to kill the huntsmen in the academy as well as the AKs you gave them. Ironwood. Yes, even the spider droids I provided weren't enough. The clones easily took them out and killed the Atlas officer I sent there. Goodwitch. Any word from Theodore? Ozpin. He messaged back just a few hours ago. Goodwitch. And what did he say? Ozpin. He is allying himself with the clones and droids. The entire staff and student body of Shade and the huntsmen and huntresses of Vacuo refuse to side with us and are not willing to die for this pointless cause. Ironwood. Damn it, but what about Mistral? After the incident in Haven, do we still have more numbers? Ozpin. Yes we do. Majority of the huntsmen there want to get back at the clones for what they did in the academy and taking out Headmaster Lionheart. But for some reason, after what happened in Haven, the students there refused to fight. Ironwood. Why? Ozpin. That I do not know. Goodwitch. The Veil huntsmen and huntresses are ready as well. They're ready for a fight. We were able to get info about their base located in the mountains. We could start an attack there. Ironwood. Ozpin. Should I bring in my forces as well? Ozpin. Have them act as support for the huntsmen. Glinda. Get all the students and huntsmen in the amphitheater. I believe it's time I address them all. Goodwitch nods as the three of them all head out of Ozpin's office. Beacon Academy. Amphitheater. All the students and the huntsmen and huntresses all gather in the amphitheater as they wait for Ozpin's arrival. Weiss and Yang are among the audience. They have not yet learned of what happened with RWBY and Blake. Yang. Do we have any word from Headmaster Ozpin about RWBY? Weiss. No. As a matter of fact, the only thing he told me is the entirety of Team PRN left Beacon and the same can be said for Blake. He told me Blake cannot be contacted at all. Yang. Then no doubt the Faker did something to her. Hopefully, we can get a chance to attack their base. We need to get RWBY, Blake, and Uncle Kiro out of there. Who knows what they're doing to them. Then the audience settles down when Ozpin went up in stage alongside Goodwitch, Ironwood, and the staff of Beacon. Ozpin. Everyone, may I have your attention please? All the students and the huntsmen look at him as Goodwitch now displayed on the screen for everyone to see, the aftermath of what happened in Haven. There, everyone can see the clones, droids, and RT troopers taking over the academy. They see them arresting the huntsmen and bringing out the bodies they killed. Ozpin. As you can all see, this is what happened to Haven a few hours ago. Reports said that the clones arrived in Haven and attacked the huntsmen and huntresses in the academy. They even mercilessly killed all the students in the academy. Barely anyone survived. All the students and huntsmen were shocked by this. Ozpin. Even the Mistral Council allowed this to happen. No doubt the clones manipulated them into following their demands. They did the same for the councils of Veil and Vacuo as well as the people of Veil, Vacuo, Mistral, Menagerie, the Dragon Continent and Mantle. They all have sided with them and they will drive us out of our jobs, replace us. I suspect none of you wish for that to happen, yes. Everyone in the audience began voicing out their opinions and shouting out, death to clones and droids. Ozpin. That is why today, we are going to send them a message. As the screen now shows one of the bases of the clones and droids. Ironwood. This is one of the bases located in the mountains of MT. Glenn. I sent scouts to survey the area alongside Oobleck and we were able to pinpoint a secure for us to ambush the clones and droids. Once we breached their base, our main priority is to head into their armory and steal all their weapons. As you all know their weapons can kill us in one shot. I think it's time for us to take back what's ours. Goodwitch. We will all be splitting into teams. Each of you will be assigned to a specific team. The same goes for the students and you will all be led by a staff member of Beacon. Ironwood. We were able to spare a fleet of Atlas ships to support this attack, so don't worry about you getting pinned down, we will be here to help. Ozpin. I believe you all know what to do. I want you all to prepare yourself for the coming battle as this will be a long and gruesome war and I hope you're ready. The huntsmen and students all began cheering and rallying each other. Ozpin nods to Ironwood and his inner circle as they left and prepare for war. But unknown to them, both the clones and droids are always one step ahead of them. As a probe droid can be seen spying on them and fly back to base. In MT. Glenn, there are numerous bases where the clones built, after they killed the entire population of Grim there and removed the White Fang out of there. But with the droid army and the new RT troopers added into the picture, they created new bases for them. Inside the main HQ of both the clones and droids, we see two officers in the command center. The room is an unusual sight as we can see both clones and droids working side by side, which if this happened during the war, would be unheard of. Right now, one of the clones assigned to this base, he goes by the name of Cards, an advanced recon commando or ARC trooper for short. He is a commander and is one of the main officers in this base. Alongside him, is one of the super tactical droid that Kalani has assigned in the different kingdoms. Cards, I believe the probe droids got the info we need. Super tactical droid, affirmative, Ozpin and the huntsman of Beacon are planning an attack on one of the bases located in the mountains. The super tactical droid presses a button in the holotable as a map of the entirety of MT. Glenn appears, Cards can see that 3 pathways are labeled in 3 different colors. Super tactical droid, I calculated that the huntsman would use these 2 alternatives routes to attack our base. Our scouts have spotted them near the mountains for the past couple of days, I believe they are looking for a more secure route. Cards, they'll most likely use the Atlas fleet to attack from the front while a small squad of huntsmen will attack from both sides. Super tactical droid, which would lead to us being surrounded. Cards, but I believe the huntsmen and Atlesians have another motif here. Cards then clicked on the holotable as the hologram now focuses on one specific location. Cards, the armory. Super tactical droid, from what I calculate they will focus their efforts on the main attack while the huntsmen will slip past off and acquire our gear and weaponry. After all, they are at a disadvantage right now. Cards, indeed, I'll have the boys secure and lock down the armory. Can't let anyone slip past us. Super tactical droid, I'll get the droids ready for battle. The huntsmen won't see what we have planned. Time skip. It's been a few hours and the entirety of MT. Glenn is quiet, just what the huntsmen were hoping for. While Ozpin and Ironwood lead the main charge of Atlas soldiers AKs, paladins, and spider droids. In the outskirts of MT. Glenn, 2 large groups of huntsmen walked in a secluded pathway leading to the base. In one of the pathways, Goodwitch is leading the team. Goodwitch, stay on guard everyone. Once Ozpin and General Ironwood start the attack, we begin ours. All the huntsmen nod and are eager for this battle. Meanwhile some people have their doubts about this, one such person is Velvet. Coco. Hey Bun Bun, is there something wrong? You don't look so confident about all of this. Velvet. Well are you? Are you confident we can do this? Coco just looks out to the side and sighs. Coco. No I am not, we all saw what the clones are capable of, they saved us from the Grim and White Fang, took out the entire Grim population of MT. Glenn, and even took a bunch of criminal groups all over Remnant, so yeah I don't think we have a shot in this. Fox, plus every single one of them has experience with war, so they know what they are doing. Yatsu, the same can be said for the droids. Velvet, so what we leave? We can't just bail on out of here, these guys would definitely kill us. Coco, oh we can. Believe it or not, Cardin Winchester spoke to one of the clones and asked if they could help them get out of Beacon and join up with the rest of Remnant. Fox, and they asked if we would want to join as well. Velvet, wait, really? Coco, yes. Cardin and his team knew that this would be a lost cause, they saw all the huntsmen and huntresses eager to kill the clones and steal their weapons. Him and his team are not dying for a stupid cause and the same goes for us. Fox, when the battle will happen, we'll meet up with Team CRDL and find the clone in charge of this base. He informed their men beforehand that we are friendly, we just need to slip past everyone here. Velvet, and how will we do that? Then Cardin and his team appeared in front of them. Cardin, let's just say the idiots here won't expect the clones and droids actually have a plan to counter them. In the main HQ of the clones and droids base in MT. Glenn, all of them are getting into battle stations as the clones set up positions as ATTEs, turrets are being placed, they are also joined by a battalion of RT troopers that see battle for the first time and the droid army is setting up formation and waiting for the gates to open. The unit that is assigned to this part of MT. Glenn are known as Rancor Battalion. Their Phase 2 armor, the design is similar to their Phase 1 but with an added comma and more gray and red markings around their armor. The officer leading this part of the unit in the base is ARC Trooper, Hammer. One of the 4 ARC Troopers that are part of Rancor Battalion. He raises his hand up towards a clone with the Z6 rotary cannon as the sounds of marching can be heard getting closer and closer. All the clones, droids, and RT troopers aim their weapons and are waiting for the attack, all ready to fire their guns. In the command center, Cards and the super tactical droid watch the battle. Cards, open the gates. The gates were suddenly open as they see Atlas forces by the entrance and Hammer gave the order and all units opened fired at the Atlas forces. Ironwood and Ozpin didn't expect them to attack so soon. Ironwood, all units engage. Back with the huntsmen, they can hear explosions from the distance. Oobleck returns from a scouting position and reports back. Oobleck, looks like the attack has begun. Goodwitch, then we need to move and assist Ozpin and James with the attack. Alright, everyone, let's move, we need to reach the base before they outnumber our forces. All the huntsmen began quickly making their way to the base, but unknown to them. On top of one of the canyons, a battle droid commander looks through their Marco binoculars and sees them heading into position. Battle droid commander, they're in position. Spring the trap. As the huntsmen continue moving in the path, one of them stops. A Faunus huntsman hears something and it's close. Huntsman, do you hear that? The sounds get closer and closer, when all of a sudden a bunch of super battle droids jumped down from the cantons and began attacking the huntsman. Huntsman, it's an ambush. The super battle droids began taking out the huntsmen with ease as they get blasted to pieces. One super battle droid with an integrated rocket launcher fired at the canyon and released a bunch of rocks sent crashing to the huntsman. Yang was about to charge at them but Weiss stops her and tackles her to the ground. Yang, hey, what the hell? What was that for? Weiss, look up. Yang looks up and sees battle droids firing their E5 blaster rifle at them. The huntsmen take cover and try to find way out of there but are stopped and killed by the super battle droids. Goodwitch uses her semblance to push the droids back. She contacts the other huntsmen and warns them about the ambush. But the clones and droids are one step ahead of them and jam their comms. In the other pathway, the huntsmen were also ambushed, but it was the clones alongside a group of RT troopers that ambushed them. They were led by another of the ARC troopers in that battalion, Havoc. They are all equipped with DC-15A blaster rifles and are firing at them from the top of the canyons. The huntsmen didn't stand a chance. In the base, the fighting continues as Atlas forces are having a hard time pushing forward to the base. With the hail of blaster fire coming to them, there is no chance for them to push forward. Ironwood called for a spider droid to blast through their line but was stopped when the AT-TE destroyed it. Mind you, one AT-TE was able to destroy 3 spider droids while it barely took any damage, just a few dents, scrapes, and broken glass in the cockpit. Ironwood tried another approach and called in Atlas dropships for air support as a squad heads to the base. Then all of a sudden, the Vulture droids seized the dropships and began flying towards them as they were engulfed with blaster fire. The Atlas dropships didn't stand a chance against the horde of Vulture droids. Ironwood smashes his fist in anger at the bullhead and looks angrily at Ozpin. Ironwood, Ozpin, where are the huntsmen? Glinda hasn't contacted us and our forces are getting hammered. We need them here now or we're done. Ozpin, I can't, it seems the clones are jamming our comms. We need to send a team to investigate what happened. Ironwood, fine. As Ironwood called for a squad of Atlas soldiers and ordered them to find out what happened to the huntsmen. Back in the base, the clones and droids are pushing the Atlas soldiers back as they left the AKs do the work but were easily outclassed by the droids. Then one of the ARC troopers from Ranker Battalion, Blitz, calls for a squad of clone troopers to head in quickly. The squad he called in are known as Clone Trooper Heavy Gunners, heavy weapons specialist units that are armed with explosives. They brought in their large rocket launchers and aimed at the Paladins, then Blitz gave them the command. Blitz, fire. The rockets were fired and head straight for the Paladins, and as soon as they were hit, all the Paladins exploded in a gulf of flames and crashed to the ground. The super battle droids began pushing forward and taking out the AKs, a shot or two from their blasters doing the job easily. One super battle droid even smacks one AK that was malfunctioning when it got hit by a blaster bolt. Ironwood, damn it Ozpin, they're taking out all our forces. We need to fall back. Ozpin, any word from Glinda and the others? And on cue the Atlas squad came back but Ozpin and Ironwood didn't like what they saw. Goodwitch alongside the beacon staff, the students, and what's left of the huntsmen are all battered and injured. Ozpin. Glinda, what happened? Goodwitch. Ambushed, the clones and droids knew of our attack and attacked us from both sides. A lot of us didn't make it, and that includes some of the students. Oobleck. I believe the same can be said for the huntsman on the other pathway as well. Goodwitch. What do we do now, Ozpin? This battle is a total loss. Ozpin. We retreat and think of a new strategy. With this info, I believe we have a spy. James the First, expect you to find the spy. If they're still around here, then we will keep losing this war. Ironwood. Of course, Ozpin, I'll make sure I find the spy. Ozpin. Good, call for the retreat. Ironwood get on the radio and orders all Atlas forces to retreat from the base and head back to the flagship. Inside the base, one of the ARC troopers of Ranker Battalion, Colt, sees Atlas forces retreating from the base. Blitz. Should we follow them? Colt. No, let's leave them with a parting gift. Colt signals the droids as they began leading out 4 J-1 semi-autonomous proton cannons. Colt. Fire. The proton cannons fired and began hitting the Atlas flagship. The Atlas soldiers and huntsmen watch as the flagship slowly falls and crashes to the ground. Ironwood grits his teeth and looks back at the clones. He swears he'll make them pay for killing his men. Ozpin just watches the aftermath and thinks of ways to get more pawns to his side. He needs more manpower. Blitz. Looks like they're walking back to Vale. Colt. Yup, good riddance. Colt contacts Cards and informs them of the situation. Colt. The Atlas forces have made a full retreat. I'll have the men secure the area alongside the droids. We'll contact you if we find anything. Cards. Understood. As Cards look at the super tactical droid. Cards. Well, that went well. Super tactical droid. Indeed, I didn't expect some of the students of Beacon Academy would sell out their own men and women to survive. Cards. Ozpin is playing a fool's game trying to go against us. Those students made the right and call, and look at them now. They're still alive and not fighting a pointless cause that will only lead them to death. Super tactical droid. Yes, the headmaster wanted to send a message, but we turned things around. Cards nod and began contacting John and informing him of the attack. John. Cards, what have you to report? Cards. The attack happened as expected, General. Ozpin tried and failed to attack the base. He lost a lot of men and supplies. No doubt he would regroup and re-strategize his plans. John. Excellent, hopefully he won't bother us for now, but in the meantime continue in Vale and report to me if Ozpin makes his move. Cards. Yes, sir. John ends the transmission as he walks out of a command center they have placed in a location, as said location is in the Grimlands. He watches as Republic and Separatist ships hover around the Grimlands as they prepare something special for the Grim. This is the end of part 7 of this What If. I hope you guys like it. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and subscribe to my channel.